Oh, my word. Christmas has come early for all of you Brooksaholics out there. Shh, Bruiser, don't be rude. Mama is trying to inform the public of huge, huge happenings going on right now. All right, guys, give me 5 minutes. I got to go grab something to drink. I had to jump on really quick because somehow, somewhere, Suitcase Sarah met with the judge today. So please come on in. Give everybody a few minutes to come in because, like I said, this came up like this was just on the spur of the moment. So, hey. I knew it. Lenny said, I knew it. Hey, Sean. Okay, hang on. Let me go grab something to drink, you guys, because I've got a lot to read to y'all. Okay, so here's what's happening. Somehow, I don't know, they met in private. Did they meet? I don't know. Yes, Jerry Wayne, for reals. It's happening. Daryl Brooks appeal delayed again. Yep, they push. For those of you who are interested, today was the deadline for Daryl Brooks' appeal, and it has been pushed. Well, they just extended the deadline. No big deal. All right, so Suitcase Sarah. Apparently, they met with the judge. So let's go in here and review all this stuff. I'm so excited. I'm shaking. Oh, my word. Oh, my word. All right, so here we have the docket. And according to the docket, see, when I went in here earlier, when I kept going in here, you'd see her, first they added the 58-page letter, and then they still had 9/24 hearing management, case management, and then they had October 7th hearing, and then just somewhere in between, sometime today, they added this in. So they took her motion to withdraw, which we're going to read that, the 16 pages. The comments, it says in the comments, the court addressed Attorney Cashman's motion to withdraw. Free Patricia. Patricia is free. Hallelujah. Patricia, girl, go on with your life. She's gonna have a good weekend. She's gonna have such a good weekend. Bless her heart. Okay. The defendant was placed under oath. The court read on the record its orders dated 6/24 of 2024 as it relates to the motion to withdraw the defendant in open court. The defendant gave a statement and asked questions of the court of his order. The defendant was provided a copy of the court's order hand-delivered, Sarah, we know how you enjoy that, on 6/28 of 2024 by Officer Jones and Thomas. Okay. It says above that, the court made findings that the defendant has forfeited the right to counsel. The motion to withdraw was granted. As a condition of Attorney Cashman's withdrawal, poor Patricia, she shall provide the court an order for cost to obtain transcripts of depositions for the 2 witnesses she deposed. Upon completion of the transcription of the depositions transcripts shall be sent directly to the defendant at the Orange County Jail. Attorney Cashman shall file a notice with the court reflecting that the depositions transcripts were provided to the defendant. All previously set dates remain. So, Sarah, you got 4 months till 9/24. That's 3 months. All pretrial motions must be filed no later than the close of business on Monday, July 22nd. So if she wants to do anything or needs to do anything, she's got to do it by, she's got a month. She's got less than 30 days. Serves her right. The court ordered Attorney Cashman to provide the 2 boxes of discovery with the clerk marked as identification A and B. Oh, I'm feeling a fort box coming on. Anybody else feeling a fort box? Fort box. Or should I say box fort? I'm having withdrawals or flashbacks. I'm having acid flashbacks. Okay, the court will reach out to the jail to inquire how to deliver to the defendant. let's look at this letter. Well, it's not a letter. It's the motion to withdraw. Hang on, I gotta open my Diet Coke. This is serious. I gotta drink a little bit. It's just Diet Coke, though. Okay, it says the cause came before the court on June 28th of 2024 on defense counsel Patricia A. Cashman's Esquire's motion to withdraw as counsel filed June 11th of 2024. The court, having reviewed the motion, having reviewed the court file and Sarah's letters, having reviewed the audio transcripts from various hearings, having considered the position offered by counsel Patricia A. Cashman Esquire. Oh, the judge said, Patricia, will you take me with you? Having considered the testimony offered by the defendant, Sarah Boone, and having considered the positions offered by counsel for state, hereby finds that on March 23rd of 2020, the charges were, by way of information, the defendant was charged with second-degree murder. Procedural history. On February 26th of 2020, the Office of the Public Defender, 9th Judicial Circuit in and for Orange County, Florida, was appointed to represent the defendant as a public defender. And I think it's so cute how in the motion they put attorney number 1. Oh, Lord. I'm not going to be able to get through this. Okay. On March 9th of 2020, the public defender moved to withdraw due to the defendant retaining private counsel, to wit, Mauricio Padilla, Esquire, and the Padilla Law Group, a.k.a. attorney number 2. On March 11th of 2020, that certain order allowing withdrawal was entered which withdrew the public defender from further representation of the defendant. On April 18th of 2022, Padilla moved to withdraw due to I thought Aaron's second. I'm so sorry, y'all. I swear I've not been drinking. Irreconcilable differences. Why couldn't I get that out? I'm so sorry. Arising between undersigned and the defendant that have made it impossible, the word when referring to Sarah, for undersigned to effectively represent said client or his client. As always, it is difficult to convey all particulars to the court and at the same time maintain all duties to the client. The motion was served upon the defendant, and the defendant confirmed receipt. I did read somewhere where one of the attorneys said, you really have to be careful when you do this. You can't say anything bad about Sarah. You're not supposed to, but oh my gosh. So there's a letter dated April 20 of 2022 and filed on April 26 of 2022. On April 29th of 2022, a hearing was held on Padilla's motion to withdraw. At the time of the hearing, Padilla had been representing defendant for 2 years. Defendant was present for the hearing and was sworn. The court advised Padilla that the court had received a letter from the defendant, which seemingly objected to Padilla's withdrawal. The court advised Padilla that the options were to not proceed on Padilla's motion to withdraw or provide the court more about the irreconcilable differences. Padilla requested an opportunity to amend the motion to address the irreconcilable differences. The court reserved ruling on Padilla's motion to withdraw. They gave Padilla until May 3rd of 2022 to prepare and file, and an amended motion with a hearing to be heard in the week of May 9th of 2022. The state advised of Padilla's diligence in preparation, and the court commended Padilla's work. Defendant testified to a lack of trust between herself and Padilla. On May 4th of 2022, Padilla filed an amendment motion to withdraw, which supplemented the original grounds. Let's see. Do I need to read all this? Undersigned's relationship. Yeah, we need to read this. Okay. Undersigned's relationship with defendant has become adversarial. The aforementioned adversarial relationship has interfered with undersigned counsel's ability to effectively represent his client, especially preparing for trial. Undersigned appreciates the court providing him the opportunity to amend his previously filed motion to withdraw. However, after 2-minute consideration, we've said no, we're going forward. Further researching the issue, undersigned is still under the belief that the specifics of the adversarial relationship may disclose information that may prejudice his client, and as such will stand mute on the specifics. Bless his heart. That is a man of God right there, y'all. That is a man of God. Are you guys with me? Are y'all with me? Yes, the headline is, I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. This is real, you guys. Yeah, she's going to be called attorney. Kona's mom said she's going to be called attorney numero uno. She'll be her 9th attorney. Okay, let's keep reading this because this is going to get good, because this is giving us the details of what went on in the past, which means I'm going to have to do a whole parody on this one. So where did I leave off? Okay. On May 6th of 2022, Padilla filed a second amended motion to withdraw, which further supplemented the original grounds. Undersigned relationship with the defendant has deteriorated to a point where undersigned counsel can no longer give effective aid in the fair representation of Ms. Boone's defense. This motion is in compliance with the Florida Judge Administration, blah, 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 blah. Okay, Florida Bar are present, and whether the attorney-client relationship has deteriorated to a point where counsel can no longer give effective and aid in the fair presentation of a defense. All right. So then on May 10th of 2022, a hearing was held on Padilla's second amended motion to withdraw. The defendant was present for the hearing and was sworn. Padilla advised the court that he had no other choice to file the motion due to ethical concerns. Defendant confirmed that she wanted to terminate Padilla as her attorney. The state expressed concerns of a strategy to allow defense attorney The state expressed concern of a strategy to allow defense attorney after attorney to represent defendant. The court advised the defendant of the state's concern regarding a strategy of defendant being unhappy with every attorney and advised defendant about the dangers of self-representation. The court appointed another public defender, aka attorney number 3. I just love their number. On June 6th of 2022, the public defender moved to withdraw due to a conflict. On June 7th, 2022, that certain order allowing public defender withdrawal was entered, which withdrew the public defender from further representation of the defendant and appointed the Office of Criminal Conflict and Civil Regional Counsel. So wait a minute. They didn't even go into a whole lot of detail about that. That guy came out like he was like anonymous. He was wearing one of those anonymous masks when he went in and represented her. On June 10th of 2022, RCC moved to withdraw due to a conflict. Oh, wait. So the Office of Criminal Conflict and Civil Regional Counsel, a.k.a. Attorney Number 4, came in. And then on June 10th of 2022, RCC moved to withdraw due to a conflict. On June 22nd, 2022, that certain order allowing the Offices of Criminal Conflict and Civil Regional Counsel withdrawal was entered, which withdrew the RCC from further representation of the defendant and appointed Mark Gonzalo. Y'all, I'm reading far away. My computer screen, it's really far away, so I apologize. AKA Attorney Number 5. On July 8th of 2022, Gonzalo moved to withdraw due to a conflict. So he lasted less than 2 weeks. On July 11th, of 2022, that certain withdrawal order was entered, which withdrew Gonzalo from further representation of the defendant and appointed Frank J. Bankowitz, which was aka Attorney Number 6. And we're familiar with Bankowitz because he's the one that, that's when they started showing her in court more. They started showing these hearings. On July 12th, which if you guys aren't familiar with the case, go back. I got a whole playlist on it. On July 12th of 2022, Bankowitz in open court requested a continuance due to his recent appointment, and same was granted. Thereafter, the court set a pretrial conference for October 25th of 2022 at 9 a.m. and trial during the trial period beginning on November 7th of 2022. 2 years. On October of 25th of 2022, the court held the pretrial conference and addressed the court's understanding that a continuance was being sought as the court's judicial assistant was to reach out to the parties to confirm if a continuance was being sought. Now, if you guys don't remember, he really truly needed a continuance because Bankowitz was trying to get the money through, what do they call that? It might be written here somewhere, where they approved the money for them to get an appointed psychiatrist or whatever, right? And it has to be a certain fee. And he was having a hard time finding anybody that even wanted to work with her. On October 27th of 2022, Bankowitz filed a defendant's motion to continue. On October 28th of 2022, the court entered that certain amended order on defendant's stipulated motion to continuance, which set a pretrial conference for January the 17th of 2023 at 9 a.m. and trial during the trial period beginning on January 30th of 2023. On November 22nd of 2022, the court set a status hearing on December 20th of 2022 at 10:45 a.m. On December 19th of 2022, Bankowitz moved to withdraw due to the why can't I just say it? Irreconcilable. I can't look at the word. I just got to say it. Due to irreconcilable differences which have arisen between the undersigned, his client, and his family, the undersigned will be unable to effectively and properly continue representing the defendant herein. And of course, we're all familiar with her letters because that's when the letters really got hot. On December 20th of 2022, the status hearing was held, and Bankowitz did not appear due to a car accident, and the court reset the status hearing on December 22nd. Okay, fair enough. He had a car accident. But she was still mad. Remember how mad she got over that? She was a fuming. Okay. On December 22nd, 2022, the reset status hearing was held, and Bankowitz appeared virtually, and due to technology issues, Bankowitz was unable to hear the court. The court reset the status hearing for December 27th of 2022. So on December 27th of 2022, a hearing was held on Bankowitz's motion to withdraw, and the defendant was present for the hearing and was sworn. The court advised the defendant that the court had received letters from the defendant. A letter dated October 3rd of 2022 and filed on October 7th of 2022. A letter dated November 3rd of 2022 and filed on November 7th of 2022. And another letter dated December 5th, also filed on December 14th of 2022. The court conducted a Nelson hearing, and the defendant was not seeking to remove Bankowitz. Bankowitz advised the court of the thousands of pages in discovery that he had reviewed and organized, and his contact and potential use of and collaboration with expert witnesses, including experts that Padilla, attorney number 2, had utilized. Bankowitz advised the court of the defendant's attempt to call Bankowitz at a rate of 5 to 10 times per day. That's all? Can you imagine if she actually had access to a phone more than just a couple of times a day? I mean, she is in, she's in jail. So I'm just saying. It would have been a lot more than that. Bankowitz further advised of his efforts to balance the demands of other clients with the defendant's expectations for communications. In response, the defendant reposted that Bankowitz's representations were untruths. She raised that Bankowitz's prior public reprimands for lack of communication. She alleged Bankowitz's action in this case rose to a similar level and then sought to remove Bankowitz. I think it's funny how every time these people want out first, she turns around and says, "No, you can't leave. I'm going to fire you." The court pointed out defendants' inconsistent statements within minutes of them being made and addressed concerns over the defendant's motivations, especially when there is something the defendant disagreed with. The court specifically advised the defendant that she is not entitled to an endless line of court-appointed lawyers until you find the one that you personally prefer. The court also explained the circumstances where defendant could represent herself. Ultimately, the defendant did not request to remove Bankowitz. The court denied Bankowitz's motion to withdraw and left him there hanging and directed him to have a conference with the defendant prior to the pretrial conference previously set for January 17th of 2023. Bless his heart. The case was continued several times due to Banquet's attempt to retain an expert. That was it, through the JAC, because the JAC is the one that's going to pay for it. So during this time period, the court had received several letters from the defendant, a letter dated January 10th of 2023. I'm not going to tell you when they were filed. A letter dated March 23rd. A letter dated April 6th, 2023. A letter dated May 15th, 2023. A letter dated June 29th, 2023. And a letter dated August 2nd of 2023. On August 22nd of 2023, Banquets again moved to withdraw due to irreconcilable differences arising between, I don't know why I can't. It's like, I don't know what's got me stumped on that word. Arising between undersigned and the defendant that have made it impossible for the undersigned to effectively represent his client. As always, it is difficult to convey all particulars to the court and at the same time maintain all duties to the client. Can they ever say anything? I guess they can't. I guess they can't ever say anything against her. The defendant will not be satisfied with any attorneys unless said attorney does not have a caseload and can dedicate his or her time solely to Mrs. Boone's case. The best possible avenue is to have the defendant represent herself, as no attorney can satisfy her. On September the 8th of 2023, a hearing was held on Banquet's motion to withdraw, and the defendant was present for the hearing and was sworn. Banquet's addressed defendant's derogatory statements, calling him a dud and a buffoon, and berating behavior. The court advised the defendant that the court had received letters from the defendant as well. One was dated August 26th, and another letter was dated August 30th. And yeah, that was all at that point. And then after the court's colloquy of defendant and her acquiescence, how do I say that? To Banquet's withdrawal, the court granted Banquet's motion to withdraw and appointed Winston Hobson, bless his heart, attorney number 7. And by the way, if anybody's making fun of the way I'm reading, look. Just don't, okay? Thereafter, the court set a status conference for October 30th of 2023 at 10 a.m. and set a pretrial conference on November 28th of 2023 at 9 a.m. After setting these dates, the court pointed out the deterioration of working relationship between defendant and Banquets. The court further cautioned that if this becomes a problem on another court-appointed attorney, I'm going to look more closely at what the alleged disputes are. The court further advised that there are certain decisions the attorney gets to make and certain decisions a defendant gets to make. Go to trial and or testify. The court cautioned as to the defendant's unrealistic expectations regarding court-appointed counsel and reminded the defendant of her right to retain private counsel. On October 30th of 2023, the status conference was held, and Hobson advised as to conversations with defendant and setting a status in January of 2024. Thereafter, the court set a pretrial conference status as to the readiness for the trial on January 16th of 2024. So on January 12th, Hobson filed that certain motion to continue, waiver of presence, and requested a 3-docket continuance. On January 16th, the court addressed Hobson's motion to continue and granted same. Set a pretrial conference for May the 3rd of 2024, which a trial would begin on May 13th. On February 1st, Hobson moved to withdraw due to irreconcilable differences, including but not limited to ethical considerations. On February 9th of 2024, a hearing was held on Hobson's motion to withdraw. Hobson addressed a number of issues as for the basis for the withdrawing, including disagreements on legal strategy, on what can and cannot be done, a lack of resources, and defendant's demands make her difficult to work with, including defendant taking non-viable legal positions and being unreasonable. As to a key substantive defense, I know I sound like a moron. I can't read. Hobson advised that the retained and undisclosed expert is not keeping with what the defendant has in mind. The court advised the defendant that the court had received a letter from the defendant, a letter dated January 19th of 2024. The court outlined the overriding claims for withdrawal by Padilla, Bankowitz, and Hobson, adversarial relationships, lack of satisfaction, and inability to meet the defendant's desires. The court found that all the defendant's relationships with all court-appointed attorney counsels have deteriorated such that the defendant and the court-appointed counsel cannot work together. The court advised the defendant that although the defendant has a right to court-appointed counsel, that right is not unlimited. Why does that sound so familiar, Brooksaholics? It is not unfettered. The court twice advised the defendant that the defendant may not be provided another court-appointed attorney and that the defendant would have to represent herself if circumstances similar to Hobson's motion to withdraw occur. The court further advised the defendant about the dangers of self-representation due to the defendant's lack of legal training and knowledge, even though she does excel at everything she does. That's not really in there. I just said that. The defendant never stated that she did not understand that she may not be provided another court-appointed attorney. The court granted Hobson's motion to withdraw and appointed Patricia A. Cashman, a.k.a. Attorney Number 8. The court is aware of Cashman's extensive experience representing criminal defendants as both an assistant public defender and in private practice, including representing defendants accused of murder, and is widely known to be able to and willing to deal with and manage difficult clients. So you know what? I wonder if the judge seeked her out specifically. It kind of sounds like it, right? The court set a status hearing for April 12th of 2024. She probably said, can you imagine it? The judge is like, look, I really need you to represent this defendant because I don't know what else to do. Nobody will stand up. And then she's like, okay, but one letter. She writes one letter and I'm out. You guys, I'm saying all this. I have no idea how it really works. Okay. So I'm probably wrong. On April the 12th of 2024, the status hearing was held and Cashman advised as to the depositions that had been set, the hiring of an expert, and request for a future status date to address a trial date. The court set a status hearing for June 7th. Okay. Now, this is where most recently June 7th happened. Status hearing was held. Cashman addressed her dates of availability for trial. The defendant was present for the hearing, of course, as she always was. Thereafter, the defendant advised the court to walking out of at multiple meetings with Cashman, which was confirmed by Cashman utilizing a pretend judge to oversee defendant and Cashman, launching multiple attacks on Cashman's professionalism and providing the court with letters dated June 4th of 2024 and June 7th, 2024, and both of which were filed on June 21st of 2024. Cashman advised to her efforts and time spent on the case so far, 20 hours. Cashman advised disagreements on legal strategy, including the defendant's attaching importance to issues that may not be legally important. So the defendant accused Cashman of lies and half-truths. And on June 11th of 2024, Cashman moved to withdraw under Florida rule, blah, blah, blah. Hang on, I got to drink something. Excuse me. Basically, substantial risk that the representation of one or more clients will be materially limited by the lawyer's responsibilities to another client, and irreconcilable differences, including but not limited to ethical considerations, have risen, such as counsel can no longer provide representation. All right, KK. On June 28th, 2024, a hearing was held on Cashman's motion. This was today, guys. Cashman relied on Florida rule, blah, 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 as the basis for the withdrawal. Didn't say what time they met, though. At no time has defendant refused to accept the services of any of her 7 appointed attorneys. Okay. Both the United States and the Florida Constitutions guarantee an indigent criminal defendant the right to assistance of appointed counsel. The counsel clause of the Florida Constitution under Article 1, Section 16 recognizes the right to counsel as well as self-representation in all criminal prosecutions. A defendant in a criminal case can forfeit a right to court-appointed counsel. A forfeit is an extreme measure that flows from the defendant's abuse of or manipulation of the right to counsel and results in the defendant being required to represent himself even though he has not waived counsel and may still want legal representation. So they're forcing her to represent herself? Forfeiture is a judicial response that adapts the course of the legal proceedings to the defendant's choice to engage in misconduct that undermines the legitimate exercise of the right to counsel. They call him Miss Sarah out. As set forth above, defendants, what is that word? Recalcitration? Whatever. Her constant berating of all the attorneys we assigned to her who were not conflicted out. Padilla, Bankowitz, Hobson, Cashman, antagonism, hostility, and attacks on the professionalism of Padilla, notably over a year after the fact of Bankowitz and of Cashman, and personal attacks on Padilla, Bankowitz, and Cashman. Each of these attorneys were required to withdraw. It has become apparent to the court that the defendant will not permit herself to be represented by anyone. Additionally, the withdrawal of 8 different attorneys, 7 of which were court-appointed, leads to a determination that the defendant has forfeited her right to counsel. Under Florida law, the facts at bar amount to a binding forfeiture of the right to counsel. As the court finds defendant has forfeited the right to court-appointed counsel, under Florida law, there is no obligation to conduct a Faretta hearing, or to otherwise warn a defendant of the dangers of proceeding pro se. Oh, God, here we go again. Pro se. The court can find a waiver by conduct to the right of counsel. Waiver of conduct requires that a defendant be warned about the consequences of his conduct, including the risk of proceeding pro se. On February 9th of 2024, the defendant was twice advised that another court-appointed attorney may not be provided. On May 10th of 2022, the defendant was advised about the dangers of self-representation. On February 9th of 2024, the defendant was advised about the dangers of self-representation. No, I didn't just read that same thing twice. It was a separate day. And then on February 9th of 2024, the instant case had been continued 16 times. 16 times. As for June 26th of 2024, this case has been pending 4 years, 3 months, and 5 days from the date of the filing of the information on March 23rd of 2020. Yeah, that, and you know what, guys? It's like not lost on all this is the family's waiting for their day in court. You know, the family, the victims in the case. Actions speak louder than words. Although the defendant's words seemingly reveal a desire to go to trial, however, as set forth herein, her actions and inability to work with court-appointed counsel are repeated over and over, allowing the defendant to her 8th court-appointed attorney, her 9th overall, will only serve to delay the case further and encourage the defendant to persist in efforts to prevent the resolution of the case on its merits. Remember, she wanted a successful outcome, though, y'all. Remember, the concept of which was brought defendant to her attention on May 10th of 2022. Defendant complains that Bankowitz and Hobson, the 2 court-appointed attorneys, failed to meet and communicate, and when defendant is provided court-appointed counsel who will meet and communicate, Cashman, the ways and means of meeting and communicating are unacceptable to her. Excuse me. All right. We're almost done. Under Florida law, the facts at bar amount to a binding waiver of the right to counsel. So Cashman's motion to withdraw was June 11th. This is orders and adjudication. Okay, so as a condition of Cashman's withdrawal, Cashman shall provide the court. I've already read this to y'all, but I'll read it again. An order for the cost to obtain transcripts of depositions for the 2 witnesses Cashman deposed. Upon completion of the transcription of the depositions transcripts shall be sent directly to the defendant, Sarah Boone, by Cashman at the Orange County Jail. Thereafter, Cashman shall file a notice with the court reflecting that the deposition transcripts were provided to the defendant, Sarah Boone, and such notice shall be included in the date sent and the address of the defendant, Sarah Boone. Then Cashman will go out and drink heavily. It doesn't say that, but that's what I was kind of thinking. Okay. The defendant, Sarah Boone, has forfeited her right to court-appointed counsel. Alternatively, defendant Sarah Boone has, through waived by her conduct, her right to court-appointed counsel. The trial management conference shall remain specifically set for Tuesday, September 24th at 1:30 p.m. And man, is that going to be a circus. Oh my goodness. You guys, just go ahead and mark your calendars now because it's going to be on this channel and it's going to live. Grab the popcorn. This case shall remain specifically set for trial for the 2-week trial period beginning Monday, October the 7th at 2024 and will not be continued for any reason except by extraordinary good cause, and such extraordinarily good cause shall not include retention of counsel by the defendant. So even if she goes out and gets another attorney, they're not going to give him any more time than it's it. We're done. I bet she goes out and gets another attorney. She's going to call Brian, her ex, and beg him for money. Any and all pretrial motions in this case must be filed no later than the close of business day on Monday, July the 22nd, which, you guys, that's less than 30 days. Less than 30 days. Sincerely, Michael S. Crescent. It didn't say sincerely. And there's no emoji heart on there. There's no cat emojis at the bottom of his document, as was Sarah's. So I guess she had to sign off on all this. So there you go, kids. Well, she has fans in Korea. Are y'all talking about her fans in Korea? Yeah. She's got one in Korea that has been writing her, apparently. They're big buds. Maybe they'll pay for her attorney. Is that what Love My Vet Off Grid said? Oh. So, of course, she's going to automatically, because she has already, she's been compared to Daryl Brooks. So it's going to get even worse now. Oh, I still had that banner up. My bad. Take that down. It's going to get even worse. So while we're here, there's something that I did want to bring to y'all's attention that I had, because I feel like it's just needed for right now.
I've been here for 4 years and I'm tired of being here, and I'm tired of going through all of these attorneys, which are not my fault. But when 100 days have passed and I haven't heard or said or done anything other than to try to figure out where you are because your phone doesn't work, I'm not a bad person because of that. I'm not a bad person because of that. Not my fault. 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 Not my fault.
Oh, Sarah. You guys, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be disrespectful to the families. They've lost someone in this, but this is unbelievable. Thank God for court TV. Thank God that we can now watch trials on YouTube, because if we couldn't watch this, I don't know. But I guarantee you, everybody that watched Brooks's trial, they're going to be tuning in for this. Now, let's just play this down a little bit. Let's think ahead. See if we can kind of. Thank you so much, Patty. I appreciate that. Let's kind of play the scenario out. How do we think she's going to act? I think she's going to try to, if she doesn't hire an attorney, because there's still time for her to hire an attorney as long as somebody says, yeah, we'll go ahead and take it. But really, who would take her case? Who would take her case? And I mean, she doesn't have a lot of money, but I hope Brian doesn't do that. I think Brian wants her gone. You guys, we're going to listen to Brian's thing here in a minute. I've got that ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and listen to that. But I see her sitting down and going, okay, well, I excel at everything I do. And I have all this paperwork sitting out, right? And I'm like trying to put this all up there so that we can all see what's going on. And I don't like, I don't like the way the prosecution just looked at me. I don't appreciate that. I don't like her tone. Could she please be nicer to me? Or he, it's a he. Could he please be nicer to me? Now, that's somebody else who's lost in all this. The prosecution. The prosecution has been sitting with this thing for the same guy has been waiting all this time. All this time. Oh, thank you, Elaine. That's very nice of you. Sarah should spend her time suing her hairstylist rather than, girl, don't get me started on that hairstyle. Don't even get me started. She needs to go back to her other haircut. You know, I mean, she is in jail. She chose that hairstyle though. You know, that person that cut that hairstyle knew what they were doing. That's not an easy cut. So I just kind of see her going through and just kind of, we're going to see the same stuff over and over again. It's going to be repetitive. The stuff that she said it's going to be all very repetitive. She's going to make mistake after mistake after mistake. What could happen here, y'all? What could possibly happen? Now, here's a thought. She could hire someone to be an assistant counsel for her, like Brooks could have done, right? So let's say she says, well, I'm going to do everything myself because I excel at everything I do. And, you know, I know what I'm doing. I'm a very intelligent person and it wasn't my fault. So I'm going to do this. And I need you just to sit there and kind of keep me in line with the law, you know, like just that little thing about, you know, just the law, just that part. Because I pretty much get up there and say what I want to say, right? Mistrial. Steven says mistrial. No, but here's the thing. Ain't no way, excuse me, I just said ain't, but there's no way, you guys, that they're going to give her a mistrial. There's just no way. She's not going to get off on this because she's been difficult. And I don't know I honestly don't think she's that intelligent. I don't think that's where she's going with this. She truly believes in everything she's saying to everybody. She truly believes that she is not the common denominator in any of these attorneys leaving. This is mind-blowing. This is mind-blowing. Who lives in a different state? Oh, yeah. Sarah's in Florida. Brooks was in, is that what you're talking about, Wisconsin? So when is the trial going to begin, Kathy asked. Well, Kathy, according to these documents, we're going to have a hearing on September the 24th. And trial will start on October 7th. So September the 24th at 1:30 p.m. And obviously trial will be Monday morning at 7 a.m. And they're expecting it to be a 2-week trial. But I think as a judge, if I'm sitting here going, okay, now she's going to represent herself, maybe we need to give her 3 weeks. Maybe we need to extend this to 3 weeks. 4 weeks? You know what I'm saying? Like, do they really... Because you know there's going to be too many things that they're going to have to call her out on. They're going to have to correct her. She's going to argue it. He's going to say no. She's keep doing it. I mean, she's not going to be as bad as Brooks. I do believe that Sarah has a smidgen more conscience than Brooks did. It's just a smidgen. October 2043, David. No, it's actually this year. And how many people do you think are going to dress as Sarah Boone for Halloween? Seriously. How will she hire her expert witness? Well, isn't that still through the JAC then? She still gets some money for that? I wonder. She does say, CD man, that she is a straight A. She was a straight A student. Yes. But she never got an A in common sense. Sarah does not know how to read a room. No, she does not. Oh my gosh, Sean, she's going to walk in with a rolling suitcase for her with all of her files in it. That's just not even funny. That was bad. That was bad taste in my part. My bad. I'm sorry. She'll be her own expert witness. You are so right, Kathy, because she knows it all and we know nothing. I'm going to go back here and look at y'all's comments. Let's listen to this thing I have on Brian, her ex-husband. Let me find it. I want to make sure I give you the correct thing. Because I don't know if I have it really ready to go yet. I know I trimmed it. Okay, here it is. So this is Brian, her husband, or ex-husband. I'm sorry, her ex-husband. Back, everyone. We're going to get into some more coverage on Suitcase Sarah Boone. You know, many times when we listen to her go on and on and on and on, we've thought about her ex-husband and what that poor man must have gone through living with her. Can you imagine? Well, the police did interview him, and I got the audio. So let's get to it.
The time now is approximately 15:25 hours. This is in reference to Orange County case number 20-017904. I am currently located in my unmarked agency vehicle in front of 4748 France Lane, apartment number 3 in Winter Park, Florida. Also in the car with me is my partner,
Scott Lowen, Detective of the Orange County Sheriff's Office.
And your name, sir?
Brian, 75.
Okay. So, Brian, to my understanding, you were called over here. So can you just take me back to this morning and your involvement with Sarah, which is your ex-wife?
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yes. We've been divorced about a year and a half.
Okay.
Well, I started calling her probably 10:30 or so. It's her day to pick up the kid, but
okay.
It doesn't always happen. 1 or 2 days a week, maybe she gets them.
Out of the 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And what do you pick, like every other day you're supposed to?
Well, we're supposed to. She's Monday, Tuesday. I'm Wednesday, Thursday, and then we alternate Friday through Sunday is how it's supposed to. I was actually my lawyer back a couple weeks ago. I was looking to get it changed because she can never stick to it. There's always some reason why. So it's general that I start calling her around then to find out if she's actually going to get him, even though yesterday she told me she would. So I started calling her about 10:30. Never got an answer until I can tell you. So I finally got a hold of her at 12:49.
And did she call you or you call her?
No, I called her. I'd called her at 11:25. I did that twice. I always call twice because generally she's asleep or whatever. And then I called her 2 more times at 12:21, and then I called her again at 12:49, and that's when she answered.
Okay.
Freaking out, saying that George was dead, and could I please come over? So I told her you need to call the police. Mm-hmm. And went and got my dog in his crate and everything, and started heading over here. She called me again at 12:54 asking if I was going to be coming over, if I'd left yet. I told her I had already left. I was going to be there in a couple minutes. So I got here, knocked on the door, walked in just right in the front entrance area. Told her once again, you need to call the police.
Was she on the phone with anyone when
Not
you
yet.
saw her?
Not yet.
Okay.
She was shaking and she was trying to get herself something to drink because she was just like freaking out. So that's when she got on the phone and called, and I said, I'm going outside because I don't really want to be in here right now. So I came outside and I sat in my car until people showed up, and
okay.
It's kind of where we've gone from there. So.
Okay. So you called her about 5 or 6 times before she answered.
Yeah, which completely normal.
Normal to you. Okay. The rotation real quick. So Monday, Tuesday, she'll have them. Wednesday, Thursday, you'll have them. And then you rotate each weekend.
Yeah, well,
like it's every other weekend?
How it's supposed to work. Generally, it's 1 or 2 times, maybe a week. I think she had him last Tuesday was the last time he was actually over here.
And spent the night?
Yes.
Okay.
It's probably another week before that.
What's your son's name?
Lucas. Lukas.
L-U-K. And Boone?
Yeah.
You think he stayed here last Tuesday?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was last Tuesday.
Was, well then, okay, so you technically have him more than she does. Is that where you're getting?
Yeah, that's why I said I was going to.
So even though that's how it's supposed to be, you still have him.
Yeah, it's a not a good day. George is in a bad mood, or whatever else reason. I think sometimes just she wants to stay up and drink and can't really do that if she's got to wake up and take him to school the next day.
Right.
Any number of different reasons. So.
Okay. How long have you known Sarah?
Since, let's see here, I was probably 23 or so when we met.
Oh, wow.
Something like that.
Since you were 23?
Yeah. Yeah, so probably, 20 years. We dated for quite a while. And then got married, whatever it was, 12, 13 years ago, something like that. Well, I guess 12, 13 years ago before the divorce, I guess.
Hey, J9 Eve. What's up, girl? How are you? Thanks for popping in. Thank you for the super chat. Hey, you guys, if you haven't checked out J9 Eve, she is killing it over there on this super mayor stuff. She is, I put a couple of comments in there for you. It is hilarious to watch. She is all over it. Tiff. Oh, it's awesome.
Like 14, 15 ago, something like that, maybe.
Okay. What can you tell me about her?
I don't, she's generally not, she can get a bit violent when she drinks. Not to this kind of extent. I don't know what happened exactly. But,
right. No, I'm just looking for you.
But that was part of it. The alcohol has gotten worse and worse and worse over the years. That's one of the main reasons why I divorced her. I just couldn't deal with it. It got to the point where, on weekdays, she'd go out, and I guess the George person is one of the people she had met, because I separated at one point and went over to my parents' house to live for a few months. And I guess she met him over at the pool place or something like that. But I'd come back and we were in therapy trying to work it out. And on a weeknight when he's got school the next day, I've got work the next day, she was out till 3 o'clock in the morning when the bar closes, and she'd bring people back over on the back porch. One time some random person walked in my house and started screaming for Sarah at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning when we're trying to sleep. I just couldn't get over it.
So did you still live here?
No. I bought her out of our house.
Okay.
I was going to just sell it and move because I kind of wanted to go back to College Park, which is where I'm from, but I thought it would be maybe easier for Lucas if I just bought her out and kept that house so he had a little bit of continuancy, kind of.
Yeah. Understandable.
So that's what I ended up doing, and then she moved right down the street here, so. And
how long would you say the alcoholism has been a part of her life?
It's always been a part of her life. It seemed to have gotten worse and worse. I think more or less kind of since we had Lucas. And I think a lot of it was the fact that she kind of, I guess, maybe felt trapped or something.
Okay.
That, before that, whenever she wanted, you're outside having a drink, I want to go play pool, you go over across the street, you play pool for a little bit. Yeah. That's not happening anymore when she got a kid.
Right.
So.
How old's your son?
He is 9. So, but, she started just really angry when she drank a lot. She said last night she fell asleep. There were plenty of times where she just basically passed out from drinking. So,
so you've witnessed her pass out from drinking?
Oh yeah.
Okay. And when she passes out, is she out cold?
Oh, she's out.
Like, how difficult would it be to, like, wake her?
Well, I mean, if I were to, like, shake her or something,
Right.
I could probably wake her up. But me making a phone call or noise probably wouldn't do it.
Okay. And would she be, like, in the middle of doing something and just, like, out cold? Or would she, go to bed and
it would
just be out cold?
Yeah, she wouldn't, like, fall over or anything. It would be more of a lay down and then she's just out.
Right. Okay. What do you know about her and George's relationship, if anything?
It was, I mean, I think she had him arrested like 5 or 6 times for domestic violence. I mean, he's stuck a steak knife in the back of her leg one time.
Okay.
So
has he always been the one that gets arrested, or has she ever been
She
arrested?
was also one of the times.
Okay.
One of the times both of them were arrested.
As always, hey guys, give a shout out if you got a membership from Mark.
But all the others have been him. But the very next day, she's in there trying to get him bailed out. So
Right.
I don't know. Basically, they get drunk, they get in a fight, she gets upset, she calls the cops. I mean, granted, I saw lots of black eyes, bruises.
On her?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, there definitely was. Now,
Would you see George as much as you would see him or her?
I hardly ever saw him.
You hardly
I honestly, I didn't like being around either one of them.
Right.
To be honest, and him more so. So.
Why is that?
Just I don't know. It's my ex-wife. She made me really mad with everything. How the whole divorce went down, and just, I mean, the way she acted and the way she changed, and the way they both are. I mean, what it's done to Lucas and everything else. He's nobody I cared to see. Let me put it that way. I mean, it's not like I really went out of my way to, like, it's just not.
When you guys do drop-offs or anything, is it always through the school, or would you, like, have to come here and see them, or no?
No, it's pretty much always during the school. Now, sometimes she would come over or something like that. Sometimes he would be driving, but, I mean, he would just stay in the car. She would come in. So, I mean, I wouldn't see him.
So it's not like you have, like, conversations with George? Okay.
No, I mean, maybe a few times when they've drunkenly called me at night because she was telling me she needed to escape because whatever's going on, or she's put him on the phone, but I don't know.
When's, like, the last incident that you recall of there being, like, a domestic dispute between her and George?
I mean, she told me, like, a week ago she had to escape from the house and wanted me to come pick her up. I told her I wasn't going to because I'm just tired of it happening. I mean, it was midnight. I mean, child's trying to sleep, and just...
Right.
Honestly, I don't always believe her when she said these things were going on, and...
She called you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, apparently she went back inside and slept well. Was in a fine mood the next day. I guess didn't really remember calling me, so I don't know if it was just...
brought up again?
If it was just she wanted to come over to... I don't know, she keeps on trying to come over to, like, hang out or something like that, or... she'll come over to spend time with Lucas rather than actually just having him over here like she's supposed to, but she wants to come over there and play with him. And so,
You guys, Patty said, whatever possessed Brian to marry her to begin with? Was he high? You know what, Patty? I think he's just too nice of a guy. He's just way too nice of a guy. And he probably... He might be a little bit of a pushover. At one time, maybe he was when he was younger. Sounds like he's got everything under wraps now, though. He's got it taken control of. But yeah, for sure. And I agree, Super Kelly. I certainly hope that her son is not harassed. I hate that they've put it out there. His name has been out there for quite some time, and I hate that. Elaine. Elaine said... Sarah and Jorge seem like the Temu version of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Good gracious alive. Mark said, maybe Brian liked to play hide and seek. Oh my God, we're all going to hell. This is horrible. We are so horrible. I love you guys.
I'm not sure how real that was. Last time I know there was an actual physical confrontation. It's probably been a little while because this last time George got arrested, I know he was on pre-trial, whatever, something. I don't know. He had a parole officer. He had a domestic violence class. He's like...
So that's the last time, basically the last time he was arrested was the last physical altercation that you recall?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know for sure, but I think so.
And you have any idea what year or month that may have been?
Back a few months, maybe?
A few months ago?
Yeah, something like that, maybe. I don't think it was incredibly long.
Okay. Like around the holidays of last year, before the holidays?
I think it was probably before the holidays.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember.
Okay.
Because oddly enough, there was like a 3-week period where she actually had Lucas all the time she was supposed to because he was in jail for a month or something like that.
Okay.
Because they wouldn't let him out.
Yeah. And you said when she drinks that she can get physically aggressive.
She can. I mean, she did it to me a lot, where she'd hit me and stuff like that. I mean, she's tiny. I mean,
What do you mean hit though? Like open hand smack you, or like try and punch you?
Yeah, she'd punch me. I mean, more arms. She many times would use her claws. I mean, I had scratches on my neck at times, on my arms. I mean, things like that where she'd dig with her claws.
Okay.
I never got that drunk, and I had restraint. I never touched her back. I think George didn't have that restraint, and at times he would hurt her back. So, I mean, for all I know, all the times he got arrested, she started it. I don't know. I wasn't there, so. Mm-hmm. But I know she could get violent at times.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't know. It wasn't anything I don't know, too much. I mean, just.
Right, yeah. I mean, you don't feel like she was a huge threat, I'm assuming, right?
No.
Yeah, like you could handle yourself.
Yes.
Does she drink daily?
I think pretty much.
Okay. And do you know, like, her drink of choice?
That would be vodka.
Vodka.
Or wine, but vodka is the big one.
And does she or George have a job?
No. She hasn't worked for over 2 years. Well, I guess you could maybe call what he's got a job. He worked at the Ace Hardware up across the street here.
Okay.
Which is now going out of business.
Okay.
He kind of off and on worked there. When he did work, it was 15, 20 hours a week, something like that. I mean, my alimony and stuff basically pays for where they lived. So, I mean, they didn't need a ton, but, I mean, she was always calling to borrow money. And but, it's been like 2 years since she got a job. She keeps on telling me she's looking. She's always finding the good opportunities and everything, but...
Right.
Okay.
Do you want to take it?
Just
sure.
one second. Over. Hey. Well, just wait. I'm talking with the detectives right now, and I should be heading out here soon. So I can come get him, okay? Is John out? Oh, okay. Is he awake? Okay, good. Okay, well, I should be up there very soon. Okay, bye. Sorry.
Okay. We were just on the phone with someone. Okay. When you came over here, I know you said that she called you freaking out saying he was dead. Did she give you any more, like, did you ask why or how?
She told me that they were playing last night or something, and he got in the suitcase and she fell asleep.
Okay.
That's all she told me, so I don't know anything beyond that.
Okay.
And I really didn't talk to her much because I came inside. I told her you need to call the police, and then I came back out. And
you guys, can you imagine when this first came up? They were like, "Oh, it's her. Oh, she's gonna say they were playing hide and seek. That's her thing. She's gonna Like, this was the detectives, like, talking amongst themselves. Yeah, she's claiming they were playing hide and seek. And they're like, where'd she come up with that one? That's clever. And when they found out that they really were playing hide and seek, like, it sounds like they really were. Because they draw, they play puzzles, you know. I got a couple pieces of her artwork I'll pull up here soon.
I think she went on the back porch to smoke a cigarette, so I didn't even really talk with her much.
Oh, like she was going outside this. Did you see her take a cigarette?
Yeah, she was going outside with a, well, I also know when the cops showed up, she kept on telling them she had a cigarette burning out there and she needed to go put it out.
Okay.
But they were keeping her away from stuff, I guess.
Right. Okay.
But, yeah, she wanted me to come back there with her. I was like, I'm going out here. I don't really want to be in here, so.
Right. And that's when she went to call 911?
Well, she called 911 while I was in there. I was standing right in the foyer area.
Okay.
And, I mean, it was apparently a pretty quick conversation, and that's when she started to go that way, and I just told her I'm going out front, so.
Okay. 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 So they were playing, and she went upstairs and went to bed.
I don't know where she went. She just told me she went to sleep.
Or she went to sleep. Okay. You don't know where.
I don't know where.
You didn't ask more questions.
I didn't ask more questions. I leave that to you guys.
Yeah. No problem.
Hey, I'll let you know when I'm done talking to these guys, okay?
This house.
Well, I was in the foyer.
No, not today.
Oh, other than today. Before today? I'm trying to remember if I've been in there. I haven't even really been over here lately.
So it's been a long time.
It's probably been at least weeks, maybe.
Does Lucas play baseball or anything yet?
We've tried to get him into sports. He's not a big sports person, really.
Did you ever play baseball?
He didn't play baseball. Well, I mean, I had him like a T-ball set and stuff like that, and we'd play catch.
Is it like a plastic T-ball set, or what kind of equipment did you have?
Oh, no, this is when he was like 3 years old. It was a little plastic thing I had in the backyard.
Did you ever buy him any baseball bats or anything?
I bought one for over here that Sarah said for Lucas and George to like play with or something. That was...
She was unemployed, Bama. She was not working.
That was like a year ago or something, maybe.
What kind of bat was it? Was it a wood bat?
Yeah, it was a wooden bat. I think it was like a junior size thingy. I don't know. It's something that I like kind of for his height or something, I think.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
Would you mind if I took a picture of your call log to show
Sure.
that you've all the
Do you just want to see hers, or you, like zoomed in on hers so you can see all of those?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
So I'd say starting from today. I know her phone.
Did you text with her at all today?
Not today. I don't think I did today at all.
Sorry.
That was last night. She was drunkenly texting me.
Last night?
Yeah.
What time?
That was 11 o'clock at night. I think that was
Last night was Sunday. What does it say?
Oh, that's Saturday. Never mind.
Saturday.
That was Saturday night when I was watching the baseball game.
Okay.
Yesterday was just that. She said her account was in the negative, so I transferred her a little bit of money to get her out of the negative.
She sent you. Oh, that was the morning. Okay, so she thanked you at 11:56 that morning.
Yeah.
Right.
Sunday.
Okay. What's the last thank you? What time? Okay, so just a few times.
Yeah, and then that one at 12:01.
Okay, so afternoon, Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the calls. Do you need like...
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Okay.
Yep, I'll start from the top. where it has her information. Go ahead. You could scroll down. And that's fine. Perfect. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Has Lucas ever told you anything about her, like, witnessing anything between her and George?
He's heard arguments and things like that. Okay. He's not a big fan of staying over here, honestly.
Okay.
Just because they get in arguments and stuff like that. I don't think they've ever had a physical fight in front of him.
Okay.
But I know there's been arguments he's told me about.
Okay.
There's been times where I think things were starting to get to that point, and she has called me to come pick him up.
Okay.
And bring him back over to my house, so...
Yeah. Okay.
She's generally pretty good about having me come get him if... which... leads to me not having a life because I can't ever do anything.
Right.
So I can't go anywhere because I'm too worried about something happening and me having to be over here quickly.
Yeah. Okay, do you have anything else?
Yeah, do you know if she's ever had any issues with drugs in the past?
To my knowledge, she's never really been a drug person. She's big on alcohol, but I don't think she's ever... done. I mean, I think she told me like one time, like back before we got divorced, that at I don't know, this bar thing over there across the street near the Walgreens, whatever it's called.
Okay.
I've never been there, but somebody gave her a little bit of cocaine, like 2 years ago or something like that. But I've never known her to do drugs.
What about George?
No clue whatsoever.
She's never complained to you?
No. That's not to say these things don't happen, because I try to keep myself out of and away from them in general, but...
Right.
Which vehicle is yours?
The Prius right up here.
In front of us?
Yeah.
What does that stand for?
That is what I got sent.
Oh,
I know
really?
it looks like a vanity thing. No, that's just this last time they, I guess, sent me a new plate, and that's what was on it.
Awesome. So you can make it up whatever you want it to be.
I could.
Tell them it's for racing. You're going to...
Yeah, that you're racing.
Yes, racing in my Prius.
I'm not saying you win. I'm just saying you race.
Oh, man. Okay. Anything else, Scott? Okay. Is there anything else that you think is important for us to know that we have not asked you? About either George or Sarah?
I don't think so.
When, I mean, you guys have been separated for, what do you say, 5?
We've been divorced about 1.5 years. We were separated a good 8 months before that or so. And we had been separated one other time before that, before we got back together and we're trying to do therapy, which didn't work at all. So,
how long has she been living in this apartment?
Ever since we got divorced. So,
Just 1.5 years ago?
No, longer than that then. Because I took over the house. I moved in there and she moved here. Because I told her I was buying her out of the house. So I guess it has been longer than that. I think she just said she renewed, so maybe just past 2 years.
Okay.
That may be right.
I think she said she's been here like 4 years.
No, she's been with George.
You guys, do you hear a pep in his step? I mean, Brian sounds almost relieved that he no longer has to deal with her. Like he knows now she's going to be out of his life, him and his son's life, and they can just have some normalcy now. Doesn't he sound rather upbeat considering the circumstances?
I don't remember what she said.
Yeah, she was with George before we were divorced. So
yeah. Okay. And any time that you recall when you guys were together, and she would be drunk, did she always like resort to getting angry? Like, is she an angry drunk, or would she like?
Her main problem is she can't stop.
Okay.
I mean, she can't go out and have a glass of wine with dinner.
Right.
That's not a thing she can do, because once she starts drinking, she will continue drinking basically until she out.
She goes to sleep.
Yeah.
If she were to be drunk, would she like want to play games with you? Like, did you guys?
Oh, there's a really good period where she is very good, but then she drinks past that and she gets into the angry bits.
Okay. All right. Okay. Can you just raise your right hand for me? Do you promise and swear everything we've talked about has been true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. This ends the recording. 15:52 hours. Today's date is March 1st, 2020. The time now is approximately 16:41 hours. This is in reference to Orange County case number 20-017904. I am on the phone with, can you state your name, sir? Follow-up questions that I wanted to ask Brian Boone. In reference to this case. Brian, just give me your date of birth for me.
5.
Okay. And do you promise and swear everything we're going to talk about is going to be true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay. So we had a conversation about the incident and your involvement a few days ago, earlier this week, I believe on Tuesday. And after looking through Sarah's call logs, I noticed that she called you on February 23rd, which would be the Sunday night at around 23:46 hours, and that's military time, but in normal time, that's 11:46 hours. Do you recall that phone call?
I do, well, somewhat. I was asleep when she called. So she woke me up. I was half asleep when I was talking to her. She did sound very inebriated.
Okay.
I don't remember what all she said. I'm kind of used to her calling drunk late at night and things like that, so it didn't faze me as anything out of the ordinary. I basically just kind of got her off the phone and told her I'm going back to sleep and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay. You said that she sounded inebriated, like she was drunk?
Yeah, I mean, she didn't sound like, it's hard. I was half asleep at the time. I don't think I remember hearing anything bad in the background or anything that would have caused me concern, but I don't really remember it that well.
Okay. But she was under the influence of alcohol based off of your knowledge of just knowing her and knowing when and when she's not under the influence.
Yeah. As soon as I heard her start talking, I almost kind of just zoned out away from it because she says all kinds of nonsense when she does this late at night, and I was trying to get her off the phone so I could go back to sleep. Yes, I'm sorry, I'm on the phone right now. You can get yourself right off. Get yourself right off. Your pajamas are right here, okay? Hold on, buddy. I'm sorry.
It's
I'm sorry.
okay.
Go ahead.
It's okay.
What?
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Are you ready? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you remember her saying anything specifically about George?
I don't think so. I don't really remember. I really don't remember much of the conversation, honestly.
Okay, I appreciate it. Okay, and the phone conversation lasted for a little over 2 minutes, if I'm not mistaken?
May have been, yeah.
Okay. And you said that is kind of normal for her to call you late at night or just kind of whenever she's under the influence and she's kind of just babbling on and you have to try and get her off the phone.
Yeah,
if you don't
it's a thing that happens.
Okay. Okay, so you can't remember anything specific about what she may or may not have said, but she did sound inebriated. Does that sound correct?
Yeah.
And you couldn't hear anything in the background?
Not that.
As far as like
I remember,
arguing or
no.
yelling or anything like that, you couldn't hear any of that? that?
I don't think so.
Okay. Do you know where she was located? Did she ever say?
I was assuming she was at home.
Okay, but she didn't say.
I mean, she didn't have a lot of money. She didn't really go out anywhere, so I assumed she was at home.
Okay. But you wouldn't know where in the house she may have been?
No.
Okay, she didn't give you that information. Okay.
Not that I remember. It's possible she said something. I don't really remember, though.
I cannot wait until they bring up all the people that lived in the apartment complex, that the witnesses that want to say stuff against her. Because I know that they've interviewed several. I'm going to pull those up eventually. We've got the apartment manager who also did an interview. And I think there was like some friends of George, maybe his brother also. So I got a couple of other interviews that I'm going to bring up. This one's almost done. But can you guys imagine? Because all she did was, she didn't have a job. So all she did was walk around that complex. She would drink and then walk around that complex. They said that she would like be roaming around. And you could tell that she was intoxicated, and she'd be wearing things she shouldn't be wearing, like maybe like walking around in her PJs or something.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else that you think is important for me to know about that phone conversation?
I don't think so.
Does that typically, do you guys talk often? Like in a day's time? Like, do you guys talk daily?
More than I would like. Normally, anytime I'm calling her, it's to find out if she's actually going to be picking the child up like she's supposed to.
Right.
Like that next morning with me constantly calling.
Right.
She'll call to talk to Lucas, or sometimes when she's drunk, or she wants me to come pick her up because she's scared of George, or, any number of different things.
Okay, you're kind of like her call person, like she...
Yeah. It's gotten very old over the last couple of years, so I've started to just kind of ignore what she's saying and just try to get her gone as soon as possible.
Right.
Because, honestly, for a long time, I tried to help her out, give her refuge, get away from him, and she just kept bringing him back, and I eventually just gave up on the situation, so...
Right. Okay. All right. Do you promise and swear everything that we have talked about has been true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay. This ends the recording.
Well, okay. So that's it on that one. So what do you guys think? Oh, Elaine said, I bet all the inmates hide all the hooch from Sarah. Yeah, they probably have a thing there. They just go over there and say, yeah, just give her a pen and a pad. She'll write a letter to one of her attorneys or the court, and we'll be good. She'll leave us alone. Just give her a pen and pad. Encourage her to write. Tell her writing a letter to the judge is a good thing. Yeah, so I want to say she was 42 when this occurred. I think it was 42. Hey, Christine. Good to see ya. Mel says he tried to get her gone. Yeah, Mel, I'm telling you, he is so relieved right now that she's like, this guy is probably just, unfortunately, I'm sure he's not happy that what happened, but he's so glad that she's no longer in their lives. It makes it a lot easier. Maybe he can now move on and get a girlfriend. He sounds like he might be a really good guy. He needs a good girlfriend. Somebody help him raise his son. Is it easy to get booze in prison in America? Well, David, how should we know? You act like we I don't know, David. They make moonshine, I think, is what they're making over there. Yaki said she's a psycho, no prison time. She's going to be the loony. She's going to the loony bin with the padded walls and lots of pills. All right, I got something for you. I got something for you, Yaki. Let me find it. Why isn't it popping up? There it is. There you go. Yeah, she does not believe she's in the wrong, though, you guys. They make booze in prison with fruit. Yeah. Yeah, he does sound giddy. Guys, I am so curious as to how she's going to act in court. should we send her tapes of how Brooks did it? I could send her some D-Brooks School of Law videos. I'll send her some D-Brooks School of Law videos that she can watch and get comfortable with the whole situation. She doesn't have a whole lot of time. She's going to use that. Of course, anybody would. I mean, anybody that has any intelligence is going to say, I haven't had enough time to prepare. I've had all these other people work on my case. I can't find half the stuff. She's going to use a lot of the same things that Brooks said. Except for this time, she's going to blame it on the fact that she had 8 different attorneys. Oh, Patty said we should send her some sovereign citizen stuff. We should mail it to her into the jail. Oh, God, can we get in trouble for that? I bet you can. Oh, CD Man says he thinks Brian knows a lot more than what he's letting on. He got a call. Got it on Sunday night. Why else would Sarah call him? Well, he said she would call when she was drunk all the time and he would ignore it. She's going to act like a crazy person trying to act intelligent. You know who she's going to remind me of? She's going to remind me of Shannon, the attorney for Jennifer Crumbly. Y'all know what I'm talking about? The whiny voice was like, everybody's going against her. That's exactly what it's going to be. She's going to play the victim. She won't consent to herself, so Mark said. She's going to act like a crazy person trying to act intelligent. Give her DB's inmate number. Yeah, she going to go to the law library. You know there's going to be some really savvy, street savvy people in prison that are going to mess with her like major, like, Sarah, you should do this. You should do this. Go to the law library. And by the way, I know how to say library, just saying. Was Boone locked up before the mothball fly show or after? Harry said. Maybe that would explain. She's been locked up all this. Oh, they've had a lot of situations to where there was jurisdiction disputes. They were called to that apartment quite often. So the police were familiar with the fact that there were a lot of things going on. But nothing, and I think they each were arrested at least once, but there's nothing to this extent. Like, no. Professor Boone can teach all electives courses at attorney selection at the DB School of Law. Visiting professor. There you go, Yaki. Yes, the Oxford mom, friggin' Pope. Shannon, was her last name Smith? She probably does drink vodka on her cornflakes. If we're lucky, maybe she will get her some hooch before her trial starts and we can watch her in action. She's going to get some face tots. Oh, man. Does Sarah know she's representing herself? Bama. She's probably like, she's going to write a letter to herself. I haven't heard from you in days. What's going on? Judge, I can't find my attorneys. It's you hooker. You're your own attorney now. AO thinks she could have had a decent defense. You know what? I don't think so. I think she was screwed from the beginning because she taped it. She put it, she had it on her phone. She recorded it. If she hadn't done that, then yes, she might have had a shot. But because of everything that was caught on the recorder, and remember, we would not have seen all that was on that she had recorded. There might be incidents that happened prior to this that we're going to get to see. There's going to be, oh gosh, there's going to be all kinds of stuff. Oh, and then what if, there's some like Ring camera out there in the neighborhood or somewhere. Then you've got his relatives that are going to testify probably about how they acted when they came over there, because we've already got one of the friends of the family or the brother talking about how they fought when they were at the mom's house. And yeah, it's going to be, you guys, this is going to, in the words of Cousin Eddie, it's the gift that keeps on giving, Clark. This is going to be a special trial. Yeah, they were frequent flyers, Jackie, on the domestic disturbance punch card. And it's one of those things where, like, it sounds like, just from what I've heard and the different things that people that have talked about her and testimony and stuff, that, I mean, in the interviews, she was the instigator of most of it. Because, you heard Brian, he said she hits when she gets mad. She starts hitting. You know what? I hope she never hit her little boy. Sounds like she knew better to keep him out of the mix. It is possible if Sarah took the advice of the first lawyer, she may not have gone to prison. You think that, David? She might have got, well, okay, so this has gone on for over 5 years. We read what was in that docket, right? This has been going on for over 5 years. So so we know she's going to get at least 5 years. No, I do think that she should get, what do you guys think? I'm thinking 10 to 15 at the minimum. Honestly, the way they pass out small sentences for manslaughter and murder and everything these days is absolutely ridiculous. But I think because, somebody that does it intentionally, they'll get 20 years in prison. So they're going to give Sarah like 10 to 15 probably. Yes. You know what? I wonder if Brooks could loan her a suit, something like this that maybe she could just kind of put on and, maybe, you know what? She might fill it out a little bit better than Brooks, though, I have to say. She just might do that.
I'm not a bad person because of that. Not my fault. Not my fault. Not my fault. I'm not a bad person because of that.
Alrighty, guys. I just got notice from my sister via text that my brother-in-law's fixing to mow the yard here, so I've got to get off. I wonder what she would wear, because let's think about it. That's a good point, Patty. I bet she doesn't own many nice things, because she sounds like she was just kind of a homebody. I don't know. She might have a few nice things she can wear. She'll probably wear khakis and a polo. If she does, I'm going to die, because if she puts on khakis and a polo with that haircut, it's just going to be way wrong. Mark says that Brooks is sending a suit to her. She's charged with 2nd degree. Okay, thank you, Kelly. I forgot. I read it just a few minutes ago and I already forgot. She will not be able to say, no, she can't. Who's she going to complain to the judge about now? Herself? No, you know what, though, Mel? She'll start sending the judge. She will still send the judge some letters explaining the fact that she's upset because he has allowed her to. Now she's by herself. What has he done to her? She's screwed. It's everybody else's fault. It's never her fault. Thank you guys for being here with me this evening. I really appreciate you. I hope you all have a blessed weekend. If I don't talk to you before the end of it, stay safe and God bless.